Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We from Group 1 would like to present our study on differences in emotional intelligence between gender in University Technology Malaysia, UTM. First for all, I would like to introduce the member of my group which is Alia Septani Putri, Amirul Aizuddin, Lia Kamilia, Muhammad Fidaus, Ngakai Kwan and Nur Aisyah Nadra. Now, I will talk about extract from our research. We know that emotional intelligence is one of the ability to use cognitive and emotional abilities to set up an interpersonal relationship on in a social group and be able to control a person's emotions to certain situation they face. This research examines the difference in emotional intelligence between male and female students in University Technology Malaysia, UTM. Next, we go to the introduction. So, certain internal and external stimuli invigorates human actions, contributing to career growth and learning. Emotional intelligence is one of these factors. Emotional intelligence is one of the abilities of an individual to able to recognize and control their emotions. The TQSF has 30 questions that include two items from each of the 15 aspects of TQ. Each item uses a scale of 7, which is as 1 strongly disagree to 7 strongly agree. Lastly, about our objective. So, our objective to find the validity and reliability of the instrument chosen to investigate the difference of emotional intelligence in gender. That's all for me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Firdaus and I will explain our literature review and research methodology. For the literature review, we did some research on several studies related to emotional intelligence, Threat Emotional Intelligence Questionnaire (TQSF), and emotional intelligence between gender. But for today, we will discuss further the literature review for emotional intelligence between female and male. Basically, we know that emotional intelligence plays a huge role in someone's daily life, but it is often said that there might be a difference in EI between males and females. In some studies, most researchers agree that female has higher emotional intelligence than male. But why? Well, it is because women are better in managing their emotions and also have the highest scores in the overall emotional intelligence measurements, as stated in the study of Saucis and Kazi 2013 and Craig et al. 2009. Not only that, Brackett, Mayer, and Warner 2004, Chandri et al. 2013, McVenna 2014, and Roy Alonso and Vesvaran 2004 also support that the superiority of female emotional intelligence is over than male intelligence and can be assessed through all facets of emotional intelligence. However, there are several studies that acknowledge no significant difference between male and female in terms of emotional intelligence. Many researchers from various countries have conducted the study of gender comparison for emotional intelligence, such as Meshkat and Nejati 2017 from Myanmar and Nasrin and Morshidi, local researcher from a university in Malaysia, that found no significant differences in gender comparison. Thus, the studies prove that their findings are contradicted with other researchers that support female are better than male in terms of emotional intelligence. In a nutshell, different studies produce different results and discussion on this topic. But what matters is how individuals can contribute their emotional intelligence to the society. Next, I will explain our methodology for this research. We conducted a study in University Technology Malaysia and consists of 100 samples of students, and most of them were undergraduate students, 99%, and only 1% postgraduate student. For overall participants, a total of 72% of the sample were female students and 28% of the sample were male students. All respondents were mainly young, with up to 71% of the sample in the range of 21 years old to 24 years old. 25% for the age group of 20 and below. Also, only 4 respondents were in the age of 25 to 28 years old. For information, from the total number of samples, the highest number of respondents were from the Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, 67%, while the others are from various faculties such as engineering, AHIPS, science, and others. For measurement, we recognize there are many kinds of measurement tools such as Gulsman Emotional Intelligence Model Approach, Wong and Lau Emotional Intelligence Scale, and others. But we interested to use the Threat Emotional Intelligence Questionnaire, short form, or known as TQSF. This instrument consists of 30 item questions which can measure the global threat, emotional intelligence, and well being. Self control, emotionality, and sociability are four traits of EI variables that can be assessed through TQSF. These instruments also use 7-point Likert scale ranging from 1 to 7. For example, 1 strongly disagree and 7 completely agree. The questions also have 15 items for positive, such as expressing my emotion with words is not a problem form, and 15 items for negative. For example, I often find it difficult to show my affection to those close to me. All questions are also in English so that the respondents able to understand each item. The questionnaire is provided in Google Form and advertised to various social media platforms such as WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. We also stated the disclaimer for this study that all data, such as personal details, will be kept confidential and will be used solely for academic purposes only. We also did a consultation session with the lecturer to review all the questions and to avoid any errors. That's all from me. Thank you, and now I will pass it to the next presenter.
Demographic information included age and gender. In this research, female are the majority 72%, with 72 respondents out of 100 respondents, along with the male who are 28 respondents, 28%. Most of the respondents are in the range 21 to 24 years old, which account for 71% with 71 respondents, followed by 20 and below, 25% with 25 respondents, and the lower percentage is 4%, with 4 respondents represented by those who are 35 to 38 years old. The overall mean was 4.253, and the standard deviation is 0.648, which is at the moderate level. For the point item analysis, EIS 1 to EIS 30 item with the highest mean score is EIS 70, which is the item I will normally able to get into someone's shoe and experience their emotion, which their mean 5.2 and 32% of the highest score. The lowest mean score in the descriptive analysis of item EIS is EIS 7. I tend to change my mind frequently at the mean 2.96 and 30% higher score.
Thank you, Kai. Hello, everyone. I'm Dia Camelia. I now will present about the factor analysis. In the beginning, the factorability of the 30 TIQESF items was surveyed. In order to explain the construct validity analysis, there are a few subtypes of construct validity, including convergent validity. For the convergent validity, 30 questions relating to emotional intelligence were factor analyzed. EI S1 until S26 were investigated to discuss the intercorrelation between the items themselves. In this research, items E8, E16, E28, C4, WB9, WB20, WB24, WB27, S11, and S21 highly correlated with other things, generally with the correlation coefficient which is more than 0.5. However, most of the factor loading of the items is lower than 0.5, which demonstrates the factor not influence the variable. The Kaiser-Meyer-Olkin measure of sampling adequacy KMO value is 0.705, which is within the range of being the average value of KMO. As a result, the factor analysis is suitable for this data because the value is greater than 0.6. It shows that factor measure is extremely significant, implying that factor analysis is suitable. This scale plot demonstrates that the first 9 principal components have equivalence larger than 1, which is referred to as strong factors. The scale plot demonstrates that after the 9 principal components, the equivalence begin to form a straight line. The significant decline between components 1 until 9 and components 10 until 26 strongly suggested that the first 9 principal components with equivalence larger than 1 that underlie the question, which shows the test is not valid and variable. For the Cronbach alpha for the self-control dimension is 0.583, indicating a low coefficient alpha. Meanwhile, Cronbach alpha for the well-being dimension is 0.688, indicating a low coefficient alpha. Cronbach alpha for the sociability dimension is 0.693, indicating a low coefficient alpha. Meanwhile, Cronbach alpha for emotionality is 0.484, indicating a low coefficient alpha. The result revealed that measuring using TIQUE as an instrument is not reliable and accurate in this research. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, I'm Aisha and I'll be explaining the discussion of this study. The main purpose of this study is to find the validity and reliability of the TQSF instrument to investigate the difference of emotional intelligence in gender using UTM students as our subject. The validity that we use for the survey is known as criterion-related validity, which involves discriminant and convergent. For this study, we decided to examine prejudice for trait emotional intelligence factors while not include the global trait, which is question 3, 14, 18, and 29. The factors are divided into four, which are emotionality, self-control, well-being, and sociability. The convergent validity has been proved with several items that were in the same dimension, while discriminant validity was not found in our study. Other than that, the KMO measure of sampling adequacy for our study indicates that the factor analysis is proven to be useful with the data collected. The bullet test for this particular study also scored lower than 0.05, which means that it is also suitable for factor analysis. Cronbach alpha is used to measure the internet reliability analysis of the TQSF in a sample of VTM students who have demonstrated low alpha scores on all four factors of which the global trait excluded. For our study, the sociability dimension with the coefficient alpha of 0.693 scores the higher instead. The dimension with the lowest coefficient alpha is emotionality with a score of 0.484. Overall, all of the dimensions have a low score for internet reliability analysis, which are lower than 0.70. This suggests that the instrument is not suitable to measure the difference of emotional intelligence in gender among UTM students. This proves that the TQSF is not reliable in measuring our objective, which is to find the difference of emotional intelligence in gender using UTM students as our subject. Therefore, the difference in emotional intelligence between females and males could not be identified. So that's all from me, and I'll pass this to my partner, Alia.
Thank you for Aisha. I will continue to present. There are significant in terms of descriptive statistics, Cronbach alphas, and bivariate correlation that evaluate its core factors for this TQSF. Not only that, but it also the existence of differences in terms of the latent nature of emotional intelligence that occur in the final result, based on collectivistic and individualistic even though TQSF is imitative, and then that the use of item response theory IRT is very good in associating the emotional trait intelligence questionnaire, short form because the result will be more accurate in some latent traits on the item. The existence of differences if using the IRT technique, that is a large number of items have high discrimination parameters that will give differences to each individual of the latent trait. Okay, that's all from me.
In conclusion, the final result of our test run by using TQSF as an instrument to obtain validity and reliability are not suitable for use in measurement EI differences in UTM students. But we know that this instrument is indeed capable of measuring EI of various of type of genders because many past studies have been able to prove it. Maybe our result cannot measure accurately and validity due to the occurrence of some limitations happen when we conduct this research. That's all for us. Thank you.